Imagine sitting in a 140-degree wooden box in your basement, bathed in neon red light, just sweating out a pint of water while listening to your favorite playlist.
Sounds pretty intense, right?
It really does. But I mean, millions of people are paying thousands of dollars for this exact experience. And the question is, are they actually buying better long-term health? Or is this just an incredibly expensive, 276-pound piece of sci-fi furniture?
That is the big question.
Yeah, so welcome to the Deep Dive. Our mission today is to cut right through the wellness industry's slick marketing noise and find out if a major home investment like this is actually worth it for you. Specifically, we're looking at a really comprehensive review from pooladvisors.net, and it covers a wildly popular model, the LifePro RejuvaCure Duet infrared sauna.
And honestly, this review is the perfect source for this kind of evaluation. Instead of just republishing a PR spec sheet, they actually cross-reference LifePro's claims with medical sources and aggregate real buyer feedback.
Which is so rare.
Right, it gives us the actual mechanisms behind all those marketing buzzwords.
Okay, let's unpack this, because usually when you start comparing home saunas, it leads to instant information overload for you as a buyer.
Oh, absolutely. The wavelengths, the wood types.
Exactly. You get bombarded with all that, plus these mystical detox claims. So today, we're going to figure out what daily use of this specific sauna actually feels like, how easy it is to set up, and whether those extra features actually matter for your daily routine.
But to do that, we kind of have to ignore all the flashy wellness features entirely for a second.
Skip the features.
Just at first. Because a spec sheet doesn't tell you how a product integrates into your physical living space. We really need to look at the structural reality first.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because if this thing weighs 276 pounds but doesn't hold traditional hot rocks or a giant tub of water, what exactly is taking up all that space?
Right, it's massive.
You really have to understand the sheer physical footprint of the RejuvaCure Duet. I mean, this isn't a pop-up camping tent you can just shove in a closet when company comes over.
Far from it. When you buy this, you are essentially doing light construction inside your house.
You're building a tiny, very hot cabin in your home gym or your basement. It's a two-person indoor sauna, and it's constructed out of classic Canadian Hemlock wood. We are talking about dimensions of 47.2 inches wide, 41.3 inches deep, and it stands nearly 75 inches tall.
And that material choice, that Canadian Hemlock, that's actually your first indicator of the product's lifespan.
It's not just for looks.
No, not at all. Hemlock isn't just used for a polished architectural aesthetic. In a home sauna, the interior environment goes from room temperature to extreme heat and back down again day after day.
Right, which would destroy cheap wood.
Exactly. Hemlock is incredibly resilient to that thermal expansion and contraction. It resists warping, it doesn't secrete heavy tree resins when it gets hot, and it has a natural resistance to decay.
Which is vital when you are constantly sweating inside it, obviously.
Right. But that dense wood is heavy. You really have to think about the pathway from your front door around tight hallway corners down the stairs to its final destination, all before you even consider buying it.
Yeah, getting a massive wooden crate around a tight corner is definitely a real-world puzzle you don't want to solve on the fly. But let's assume you've got the space. You've mapped out the perfect spot in the basement. How does this thing actually generate heat? Because when most people hear the word sauna, they picture a wooden bucket of water being splashed onto a pile of extremely hot rocks.
Creating a massive, suffocating cloud of steam, yeah.
Right.
Well, the RejuvaCure Duet completely abandons that traditional steam room aesthetic. It operates as a low EMF far infrared sauna. And what's fascinating here is how the mechanism of heating fundamentally changes your physiological experience.
Oh, so?
So a traditional sauna works by superheating the ambient air around you to anywhere from 160 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit. That incredibly hot air then heats your skin from the outside in.
Which can feel like trying to breathe inside a pizza oven.
Right. It can be highly uncomfortable for a lot of people. Far infrared tech completely flips that mechanism. Instead of relying on the air as the middleman, it uses invisible light waves to penetrate your skin and heat your body's tissues directly.
So it's kind of the difference between cooking a turkey in a standard oven versus, I don't know, stepping outside on a cold 40-degree winter day right as the sun comes out from behind a cloud.
Oh, that's a brilliant way to visualize it.
Like the air around you is still freezing, but those light waves physically hit your skin and warm you from the inside out.
Yes, exactly. Because the infrared waves are doing the heavy lifting by vibrating your cellular molecules and raising your core temperature directly, the air inside the cabin doesn't actually have to be agonizingly hot.
Right.
The maximum air temperature for the Duet is 140 degrees Fahrenheit.
which in a traditional sauna, 140 would feel super weak.
It would, but with infrared technology, it creates a very intense, deeply penetrative sweat at an ambient temperature that actually allows you to breathe comfortably and sit there for longer periods. It achieves this using 7 separate carbon fiber heaters that run vertically from the floor to the ceiling.
Now, I have to play devil's advocate on the safety side of this technology for a second. The source material heavily emphasizes that this is a low EMF infrared sauna. They claim it has an EMF level of 0.02 microteslas.
Yes, they do.
Is low EMF a metric I should actually care about, or is this just wellness buzzword bingo designed to make us open our wallets? Because honestly, I don't even have a baseline for what a microtesla is.
Yeah, it definitely requires a bit of context. So EMF stands for electromagnetic fields. Any appliance that uses electricity, your microwave, your smartphone, your Wi-Fi router, even your hairdryer, emits an electromagnetic field.
Okay.
A standard hairdryer might emit anywhere from, say, 10 to 50 microteslas when you hold it near your head.
Wow.
Right. And in the wellness community, there is a very vocal segment of cautious buyers who want to limit their long-term exposure to these fields, especially in a device like a sauna, where you're sitting in an enclosed box completely surrounded by electrical heaters for 30 to 40 minutes a day.
So LifePro is flashing that 0.02 microtesla number to directly target that cautious buyer.
Yeah.
Basically saying, hey, this emits a tiny fraction of the energy of your morning hairdryer.
Exactly. They are claiming an exceptionally low, incredibly safe emission level. However, the reviewer at Pool Advisors points out a critical missing piece of the puzzle here.
What's that?
There are no public third-party lab reports readily available on the product page to actually verify that 0.02 number.
Wait, really? So a buyer is just supposed to take their marketing department's word for it?
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm paying thousands of dollars specifically for a low EMF environment, I want to see the receipts.
And that is a very valid point. The review actually advises that if independent verification is an absolute deal breaker for you, you need to contact their customer support directly and ask them to produce the testing documentation.
Just ask for it outright.
Yeah, it's an extra hoop to jump through, but a necessary one if you are highly sensitive to that specific metric and you just don't want to rely on faith alone.
Trust, but verify.
Yeah.
I like that. Now, once we get past the core heating technology, the conversation shifts to the therapies that elevate this unit from just a standard wooden hot box into a, multi-tool wellness center. Because this is the RejuvaCure Duet. And the Duet model has something their single-person unit completely lacks.
Right, the built-in red light therapy.
And I get genuinely excited about this because red light therapy is everywhere right now. People are buying these massive, expensive red light panels and hanging them on their bedroom doors. But in the Duet, it is built directly into the sauna ceiling.
It really serves as a major differentiator in the home sauna market. But, we do have to ground this excitement with the actual medical context.
Fair enough.
The source material points to WebMD regarding red light therapy. The science behind it is that specific wavelengths of red and near-infrared light can be absorbed by the mitochondria in your cells, potentially boosting cellular energy production.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's currently being studied quite extensively for supporting skin health, reducing inflammation, and aiding tissue repair.
I mean, it sounds incredible on paper, but I imagine this isn't a sci-fi healing pod where you sit in the light for 10 minutes and emerge looking 10 years younger.
Far from it, unfortunately. The efficacy of red light therapy depends entirely on 2 factors: the specific wavelengths being delivered and highly consistent use over a long period.
Like a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. You should view the inclusion of this feature not as a standalone medical cure, but as a massive convenience multiplier.
Because it saves you from having to buy a separate $500 light panel and finding a separate 20 minutes in your day to stand awkwardly in front of it.
Yeah.
You can just do your heat therapy and your red light therapy simultaneously.
Yes, the real value is the aggregation of therapies. And LifePro didn't stop there.
No, they really threw the kitchen sink at this thing in terms of lifestyle features. Alongside the red light, it features 9 different chromotherapy modes.
The color light therapy.
Right, where you can bathe the cabin in different colors designed to influence mood, like blue for relaxation or yellow for energy. It also includes an oxygen ionizer to keep the air fresh.
And that oxygen ionizer is actually a highly functional addition for a small enclosed space. It works by releasing negatively charged ions into the air. These ions attach to positively charged particles like dust, sweat particles, or dander, making them heavy enough to drop out of the breathable air.
Oh, that makes total sense.
It totally prevents that stale, claustrophobic feeling you sometimes get in cheap, unventilated saunas.
Add to that the built-in Bluetooth speakers, a USB port for your devices, an oxygen ionizer, cup holders, and a magazine rack. I mean, it sounds like you're describing the interior of a luxury sedan, not a sweat lodge.
They do sound like a lot, and those features might seem frivolous at first glance. But they serve a vital psychological function.
I always think about it like this. Having a home sauna without these comforts is like having a treadmill facing a blank concrete wall in a dark, unfinished basement.
Yes.
If your environment is miserable, you're going to use that treadmill for exactly 1 week, and then it becomes a very expensive rack to hang your winter coats on.
So true.
A home wellness tool only benefits you if the environment is pleasant enough to keep you coming back consistently.
You're highlighting the fundamental psychology of habituation there.
Okay.
We are drastically more likely to repeat a behavior if the immediate experience is inherently rewarding, regardless of the abstract long-term health benefits. Human beings are just notoriously bad at doing things just because they are, quote unquote, good for us.
Yeah, we really are.
So if you can listen to an engaging podcast, have your iced water sitting in the cup holder, and read a magazine while surrounded by calming blue light, you have entirely removed the friction of boredom. You've transformed a physical endurance test into a highly anticipated leisure activity.
Okay, so on paper, the spec sheet is incredibly impressive. The theories all hold up. But let's do a reality check. We need to look at how this product actually performs in the real world, according to the people who bought it.
Because customer reviews are where the marketing claims meet physical reality.
Exactly. And the consensus is remarkably positive. Across 66 reviews on the official listing, it boasts a 4.7-star rating. Customers frequently praise the shipping process, noting that despite being a 276-pound freight delivery, it arrives smoothly in a very sturdy wooden crate.
That's a huge relief for a heavy item.
And multiple owners also highlighted that assembly was straightforward with surprisingly clear instructions, though they heavily emphasize it absolutely requires 2 people.
Yeah, you are not maneuvering heavy panels of Canadian Hemlock by yourself on a Tuesday night. It requires a dedicated team effort for a few hours.
But here is where we hit a very specific, very crucial caveat from one of the reviewers. They noted that it took about an hour for the unit to reach that maximum of 138 degrees.
Yes.
Now, hold on. If I have a 45-minute window before I need to leave for work and I want to sweat right after a workout, an hour preheat time renders this completely useless for me. Unless I can trigger it from a smartphone app while I'm still in bed, that completely disrupts the convenience factor we just talked about.
It is absolutely a major con for the impatient user or the user with a highly unpredictable schedule.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, this model does not appear to feature remote app integration. So if you need instantaneous heat the moment you decide to use it, an hour-long heat-up time is going to drive you crazy.
Right.
However, we have to look at the structural physics of why it takes that long and the major pro that balances it out.
So what possibly makes up for an hour of waiting?
The sheer size and distribution of the heating elements. Because the Duet relies on those 7 floor-to-ceiling carbon fiber heaters, the heat distribution is massive, and it just requires significant energy to bring up to temperature safely.
Okay.
But the trade-off is unparalleled consistency. The very same reviewer who complained about the slow heat-up time immediately pointed out that there were absolutely no cold spots in the cabin.
Which is a notorious problem in cheaper, faster heating home saunas. Your head is burning up near a tiny ceramic heater, but your feet are freezing near the drafty floor.
Exactly. You often get a very uneven, frustrating experience in those units. Here, even though the ambient air takes an hour to reach its peak, the structural design provides an incredibly even, strong sweat. It provides a deeply penetrative heat envelope.
I see.
It is a strict trade-off between speed and the quality of the thermal experience. It just forces a shift in your daily routine. You can't be spontaneous. You turn it on, go cook dinner or do a workout, and then step in.
So it requires you to be intentional. The reviews also highlighted a few minor gripes, mostly assembly hiccups. Someone mentioned a wooden corner not fitting perfectly flush. Another had a little trouble getting the glass door wall aligned perfectly.
Which is fairly typical for large, flat-pack wooden structures being assembled in varying home environments where, frankly, the basement floors might not even be perfectly level.
True.
But observing these reviews raises a critical thinking warning for anyone researching multi-thousand-dollar investments online.
Oh, you're talking about the honeymoon phase review.
Yes. Many of the glowing 5-star reviews on these product pages are characterized by phrases like, "First week, so far, so good," or "Setup was easy, looks great."
Right.
That tells us everything we need to know about the delivery logistics and the initial aesthetic appeal. But long-term durability, how those 7 carbon fiber heaters hold up after 3 years of daily electrical cycling, or how the hemlock wood handles thousands of hours of sweat, that remains a largely unknown variable based on this specific snapshot of reviews.
We're getting a very clear picture of the starting line, but we have absolutely no idea what the finish line looks like. It's vital to keep that in perspective. So let's synthesize all this information. So what does this all mean? Who is the actual ideal buyer for the LifePro RejuvaCure Duet?
Based on the source materials breakdown, the ideal buyer is someone who has dedicated permanent indoor space, a spare room, a finished basement, or a temperature-controlled garage.
Okay.
They are looking for a premium, permanent, 2-person wellness setup, and they want a multimodal approach. They value combining infrared heat, red light therapy, and chromotherapy into a single structured routine.
They basically want the luxury spa experience without leaving the house, and they have the patience to let the machine preheat while they do other things.
Yes, the routine-oriented buyer.
Okay, so who should skip this completely?
Well, if you live in a small apartment and floor space is at a premium, this is obviously a non-starter. If you are someone who decides on a whim that you want ultra-fast heat-up times to sweat right this second, it'll be a constant source of frustration.
Right.
Furthermore, if you just want the absolute most basic utilitarian sweat possible, like if you couldn't care less about red light, negative ions, or Bluetooth speakers, you are drastically overpaying for features you won't utilize. A basic portable heat cabin or an infrared blanket would serve your needs for a fraction of the cost.
All right, let's hit some rapid-fire, frequently asked questions to round this out. Let's talk numbers. What is the financial damage here?
The review notes a current sale price of $2,799.99, which is marked down from a regular price of $3,999.99.
So roughly $3,000. What about delivery and warranty?
Delivery typically takes 10 to 14 days and includes free shipping, which free freight shipping on a 276-pound item is actually a significant financial saving. As for the warranty, LifePro backs this model with a lifetime warranty.
Okay, a lifetime warranty on a sauna sounds incredible, but there has to be a catch.
The catch is the fine print, which you must always read. Lifetime in the wellness industry often applies to specific structural components like the wooden frame not splitting. It might have entirely different, much shorter terms for the electrical heaters, the control panels, or the Bluetooth speakers.
Gotcha.
Always verify the specifics of what Lifetime actually covers before assuming you are protected forever.
Great advice. Now, I want to tackle the classic sauna question. The marketing for these devices always heavily leans into detoxing and dropping pounds. What is the actual reality regarding safety and weight loss?
If we connect the sauna's claims to the broader medical consensus, the source points directly to the Mayo Clinic, and the Mayo Clinic is very clear on this. The weight you lose during a sauna session is water weight, not body fat.
So you aren't actually burning off last night's dessert?
No, you are just sweating out vital fluids. You will step on the scale after a session and weigh a pound less, but you have not oxidized any fat. The reason people get confused is because a sauna mimics the physiological response of light exercise. When you are exposed to that intense heat, your body experiences hormetic stress. Your blood vessels dilate, which is vasodilation, and your heart rate increases significantly in a desperate attempt to pump blood to your skin to cool you down.
So your cardiovascular system is working overtime, making you feel exhausted and relaxed, kind of similar to how you feel after a slow jog.
Exactly, but without the mechanical workload that actually burns significant calories. And because you are losing so much water through this process, the absolute biggest safety priority when using any sauna is aggressive hydration.
Right.
Dehydration is the primary risk factor here. You must drink water before, during, and after your session. You are utilizing this tool for cardiovascular conditioning, muscle recovery, and relaxation, not as a shortcut to rapid weight loss.
That makes the biological mechanism so much clearer. And finally, what should a buyer do right this second to prep for setup if they are ready to pull the trigger?
Measure everything twice. Measure the footprint of the room where it will live, measure your ceiling height to ensure the 75-inch frame clears it easily, and crucially, measure every single doorway, hallway, and staircase between the delivery drop-off point and the final destination.
Measure twice, order once. Is there anything else?
Check your electrical panel. Contact LifePro before checking out to ensure your home's specific circuitry can handle the continuous power draw of those 7 carbon fiber heaters without constantly tripping your breakers.
Fantastic. To bring it all together, the LifePro RejuvaCure Duet really proves to be a feature-rich, highly rated option that successfully bridges the gap between a basic, no-frills heat cabin and a premium wellness spa. It takes that confusing sci-fi marketing noise and actually delivers a tangible, comfortable, livable routine right into your basement, provided you have the floor space and the patience for the heat-up time.
It really is an impressive aggregation of therapies that genuinely lowers the barrier to entry for daily habit formation.
If you are ready to make this permanent upgrade to your home wellness routine, you can buy the product right now by clicking the link in the description below.
And as we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. We spend so much of our modern lives commuting to work, commuting to a crowded gym, or traveling to a public spa just to find a fleeting moment of peace. When we shift our wellness practices from something we have to travel for into a permanent physical room inside our own homes, how does that fundamentally change our daily psychological relationship with rest and recovery?
Does rest finally become a natural habit instead of just another errand on your to-do list? It's a great question to think about. You start out just wanting to sweat a little more, and you end up redefining how your home helps you heal. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. See you next time.